What's up, my favorite crypto tubers? How you doing today? I wanted to retouch on everything going in Beijing and China's hardline approach that they've taken towards ICOs and cryptocurrencies in general, exchanges, Bitcoin, all of that. I've been having a bit of a think about it recently, and I can't help but feel that ultimately this might actually be a step in the right direction for the cryptocurrency economy. So if we look just one more time at what China's done. So for those of you who don't yet know, which I'm sure none of you, everyone will know, China decided to ban ICOs, and then they muscled in on all exchanges that provided fiat to Bitcoin services and allowed you to buy cryptocurrency with fiat, and then banned them from selling any more cryptocurrencies. And this has seriously shaken things up. I mean, China is about a third of the cryptocurrency economy. Apparently the transactions, about a third of them are coming from China, or Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. A third of the volume comes from China. So, I mean, they're obviously all running with their tail between their legs, and this has had a big impact on the market, and we've had a horrible week and everybody's scared. And as I mentioned in my last video, one of the problems about things like this is the fact that we're in a market where so many of the investors don't actually have the knowledge on the underlying technology, don't actually have faith in how the blockchain is going to change the world and change their own lives, and how the blockchain is going to improve our future. And so they're in it for a quick buck. They're excuse me, they're in it for a quick buck. They're in it to make some profit. They're in it because they've seen their friends get rich, and so something like this happens and they think it's all over. Oh, the bubble that the media has been pushing has burst. It's all finished. It's all going to die. Because, I mean, let's face it, most of the time up until recently, the media has been looking at Bitcoin and associating it with a bubble. Everyone in the media is saying that it's in a bubble. Bitcoin's in a bubble. It's risen too fast. It's gone up too fast. It's tulips. It's just the next tulip craze. And blah. And those of you who follow my channel and who have done your own research and who know about cryptocurrencies will know that this is far from true. Bitcoin is far from the level of being at a bubble yet, because of the fact that it is still such a small percentage of the world that's actually using it and has actually discovered Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has a long way to go up yet, and it is far from being in danger because of this stuff in China. I mean, maybe in the short term for the traders and people might have lost money. I know I actually recently bought some Bitcoin. I bought it at about 4,100, I think. So I'm under on the Bitcoin that I recently bought, but it doesn't matter. This is the time where you need to just stop watching the exact price of Bitcoin for a couple of weeks and just know that it is going to be fine. It is going to get better. So I feel like I've been rambling on a bit. I'll get into a couple more of the details that I wanted to cover, just about how the world is changing, and how things are happening with cryptocurrency in the rest of the world. So here's a little article from The Age, which is an Australian newspaper for those of you who aren't from Australia. And they're talking about how China has said that the National Internet Finance Association of China warned Bitcoin and other virtual currency lacked a clear basis for value and was a tool of money laundering, drug trafficking, and smuggling. We've all heard that one before. Also, I should mention, a friend of mine just posted me a video today that all 4 of the major Australian banks are now being targeted in a prosecution for money laundering for large criminal organizations. So all 4 of the top banks in this country are being targeted for laundering money for the top criminal organizations, and still that's the best argument you've got to get is cryptocurrency, that it's a tool for drug users and the dark net and all that stuff, and that's all it's being used for still. Really? Come on, guys, do some research. Yeah? A tiny percentage of people who use cryptocurrencies are using them for dodgy things like drug dealing or drug buying or money laundering or whatever. It is far from the majority who are using the blockchain at this point. Yeah? Those of you who know about this stuff, please remember that I've made this channel with a view to educating those who might know nothing about Bitcoin. And so therefore, bear with me if you already know a lot of these things that I touch on in these videos. But anyway, yeah, so the money laundering, illegal aspect of it is far from the entire crypto economy, as most of you will know. So they then go on to say in this article that Bitcoin, because of this, crashed, right? The value of Bitcoin fell to US 3,800 on Thursday from US 4,100 a day earlier. So it fell down by about $300 once the news dropped out. Now, if you look at that, you could say in the sense of traditional financial markets like the stock market and stuff like that, if you looked at that, you could say that it's a crash. It's a big drop in the price of Bitcoin, right? But for those of us who know Bitcoin, and those of us who know the volatility of it and who know, like I said, the amount of new and maybe sort of not as knowledgeable investors are in the market, we know that this kind of stuff can happen all the time to Bitcoin, and it's happened worse than this many times to Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin has proven itself time and time again that whenever these crashes happen, it just gradually picks itself back up, often very fast, and begins its steady climb again. So if we look at it now on CoinMarketCap, we're sitting at $3,681 US, right? Bitfinex 3,735, Bitstamp 3,735. So sitting around $3,600, $3,700 US. Yeah. So let's have a look at the chart of Bitcoin and have a little bit of a zoom in here. All right. So let's say 7th of September. All right, so on the 22nd of August, hold on, why are we 20, bloody hell, sorry, excuse me, we want 2017, here we go, all right. Here we go. So, from the 14th of July 2017 to the 16th of September 2017. Let's just go back and have a look at the 14th to 18th of July where we were sitting with Bitcoin. We were sitting around 2,000, 1,900, went up to about 2,700, went up to 2,800, climbing. So in the past couple of months, we've risen from a couple of grand to recently hitting $5,000. Yeah? I mean, where's the 5,000? Here it is up here. I think we just touched it. Just at one point we touched $5,000. So Bitcoin's in a great place. This is not I believe the correct word to use when you call it a crash, when you say that Bitcoin has crashed because of this. It took a dive, it's pretty much bounced straight back up. Zoom into that a little bit there. Took a dive, pretty much bounced straight back up, and will soon enough be back on its way towards 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 and beyond, right? So this is barely a crash. Now, due to my little screw up with the coin market cap there, sorry about that delay, a couple of other points I wanted to make. So let's just look at cryptocurrency and the blockchain from the rest of the world's perspective, yeah? So we've gone from a couple of months ago, even just 6 months ago, to a place where hardly anyone knew about it. It wasn't being talked about much, to we now almost hear about it every day on the news. It's Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin everywhere you look. And I was just reading an article here on Hacker Noon on Medium, and looking at a couple of things like Microsoft taking one step further and beginning development of blockchain as a service. They will soon be providing access to a cloud-based blockchain. This will allow other companies to sign into Microsoft's already active platform rather than building their own. If Microsoft is able to increase its user base of its platform, smaller firms will have access to this open blockchain. Keyword blockchain. And then we scroll down a bit, we look again, Lufthansa. Lufthansa's technology subsidiary, Lufthansa Industry Solutions, recently launched the initiative Blockchain for Aviation. This project aims to bring together technical expertise and develop potential uses for blockchain in aviation. So, we have China realizing that cryptocurrency is just straight up getting out of hand. It's out of their control, and China does not like the feeling of not having control. We all know that, right? So they're trying to work out how they can get their control back. They're going to bring in regulation. Obviously, it'll take them as long as it takes them. Eventually when they do, Neo will start to thrive again. Even though now Neo's, it's in a bad place, but far from dead. There are still companies actively looking to start work on the Neo blockchain and accepting Neo for ICOs and stuff like that, and blah, blah, blah. So China is just trying to work out how the hell they can get some control over cryptocurrency. As I said in my last video, whatever level of regulation that they impose, there will be people who will follow that regulation, and cryptocurrencies like Neo who will aim to coexist with that regulation, with the government and with the fiat economy, and there will be those who continue to fly under the radar and do it their own way, and buy bitcoins other ways, or still participate in the crypto economy in other ways. Another thing to look at is Financial Innovation Now, which is an organization who their slogan here on their website is recoding the future of commerce. So in this organization, our member companies include Amazon, Apple, Google, Intuit, and PayPal, right? Oh, I hate PayPal. Oh, PayPal almost makes me sick. It almost made me sick saying it, and I said it twice. Right now, there are countless reasons for innovative stakeholders to accelerate the pace of change in financial services. This is Amazon, Apple, Google, Intuit. This is what they're saying. This is why they've created this organization, Financial Innovation Now, it's basically a group whose aim is to lobby government and push innovation in the fintech sector, yeah? So these guys, who are all the top tech companies of the world, are saying things like transferring funds between bank accounts should be as fast as sending an email. But in the United States, it can take 3 to 5 days for financial institutions to transfer and deposit money. America's entrepreneurs should have access to capital to grow their companies. But many small businesses cannot get loans because antiquated risk assessments are slow and costly, making it more profitable for traditional lenders to focus on large businesses. Cashing and spending a paycheck should be easy and cheap. But over 2 billion people in the world lack access to the most basic financial services. We already know that all you need is a smartphone and you can have access to financial services with cryptocurrency. Consumers should be able to make payments safely at the touch of a single button. But the United States is trying to adopt a cumbersome European chip card invented in the 1980s. Payments can be even safer with far less friction. All right, so Amazon, Google, Intuit. I'll try and wrap it up. I know it's been a long video. They've made this organization Financial Innovation Now, and they're basically, I mean, on the site, they're acting as if they're the ones who are orchestrating all these new innovations in tech. They're the ones who realize that payment systems need to be better, and this and that. And they're probably all going to start to try and bring out their own versions of cryptocurrencies, like we saw before with Microsoft and Lufthansa. We've seen that Microsoft has now gone from wanting to partner with cryptocurrency companies and work together with them to now announcing that they want to develop their own. So I think the situation that we're going to end up having is that gradually each country is going to start to regulate more and more. Regulation for ICOs, I believe, is a good thing for the cryptocurrency space. ICOs have been a scar on us for a while now. A lot of people have been burned in a lot of bad exit scams and dangerous ICOs, and I believe that consumers do need to be protected, and ICOs should be regulated. This is ultimately a good thing. So we're now going to start to see these major tech companies trying to come up with their own cryptocurrencies that will ultimately compete with the existing cryptocurrencies. And a couple of things could happen. We could see a situation where the governments decide to try and regulate, try and block out, our existing cryptocurrencies and endorse the ones that are then made by Amazon and all these major tech companies, and we'll ultimately there'll be more cryptocurrencies in the space fighting for the top. More people trying to come in and be involved, but ultimately, I think what will happen is that with this regulation, as it gradually grows more and more, who do you think is going to start coming in a much bigger way? That is when we're going to see institutional money coming into the crypto space for real. There might be some institutional money playing around in the crypto space right now. There are certainly some whales floating around with big amounts of money, but most institutional investors tend to look at cryptocurrencies' volatility and lack of regulation as a reason to stay away from it. So ultimately, the punchline is, and I'll put this down in the description, so that if the video is too long and you can't be bothered watching it all, it'll be there. But the punchline to this is that this regulation thing is ultimately going to be good. We need more regulation. It will bring more capital to the crypto economy. It will make it safer in the eyes of institutional investors, who will then be able to bring more money into it. And this is when things are really going to start to skyrocket. So, keep investing, keep buying Bitcoin, take this chance to get some Bitcoin while it's down a little bit, and buy some cheap. And don't worry, guys, because everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine, yeah? I would say the spiel about this isn't financial advice. And actually, speaking of financial advice, one last thing. Another thing that will end up thriving because of all of this, and that you really need to look at if you haven't looked at yet, are the privacy coins. Yeah, my personal favorite, and I have believed, and from the research that I had done previously, I was under the impression that Monero was the truly the most private coin. I had a commenter in a previous video who told me that Zcash was bringing out some stuff that was going to make it more private than Monero. But I believe so far that Monero is the best privacy coin. But these are the coins that people are going to turn to if their country's regulation gets too harsh and it becomes too hard for them to deal with Bitcoin directly and stuff like that. They will end up turning to those privacy coins. So there will still be a very big place for the privacy coins in the crypto economy, and they are going to be an integral part of it, and a good place to put some of your money in now. So speaking of that whole this isn't financial advice thing, it is financial advice. I'm telling you what I would do. I'm giving you advice. Take it or leave it. I'm not liable for whether you take my advice or not. But this is what I'm doing. You know, I believe in Monero. I believe in those privacy coins. I think it's a great time to pick some of them up. A great time to pick up more Bitcoin while it's at a cheap price. And hodl your cryptos, guys, because we are going up. I'll see you guys soon. Sorry for the long video. I'll try and summarize things in the comments. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. If you want to support me, then my affiliate links are down the bottom. That's the best way you can give me the support that I need to inject more time into this channel and bring you more quality content. Sorry, my voice is still a bit croaky. I'm still getting over from when I was sick. I love you all. Jimmy J, aka Kryptographyk, as usual. Peace out. See you guys.